Morning, Steve here in Chicago with the morning grain comments. Overnight prices just a little bit better in front of the USDA report. It was interesting yesterday that open interest went up in most of the markets, suggesting that the funds may have added to their short positions in corn and wheat and maybe added to their long position in beans and soybean oil going into this report. So 11 o'clock will be a lot smarter than we are right now, and we'll be watching to see if how much changes they make. On one hand, the market isn't really expecting a lot of changes from their September numbers. On the other hand, if they want to, they could look at our corn export pace and maybe lower the corn export number. They could also look at South America and maybe try to make some adjustments down there, although most people think it's a little early to do that. And some of the commercials feel that if South America has a good soybean crop, that our export demand may be too high, and so they could adjust that also. Well, the second thing that we'll be watching for is how the machines and the funds react. Again, they're short corn and wheat, long beans and soybean oil. Do they add to those positions? Do they begin to take those positions off? One of the sources that we have says that some of the funds they talk to would like to buy a bearish report today, thinking that prices are cheap and that we've already factored in the oversupply that we have globally, and now we need to factor in a couple of things. Number one, demand may be picking up, and number two, all of a sudden we're seeing talk of inflation percolating around the marketplace with copper up, crude up, and we'll just kind of see how the Fed handles interest rates and if that stimulates any talk about inflation. And finally is weather. U.S. weather looks drier next week, which will help harvest. It also will help planting of the winter wheat crop. Down in South America, northern Brazil remains too dry. Southern Brazil remains too wet. That pattern doesn't look like it's going to change over the next 2 weeks. So this is the transition period for Brazil in which they tend to switch from their winter pattern into more of a spring and summer pattern. It's not happening yet. So that could offer some support to beans, especially if we walk in Monday and the pattern hasn't changed and begin talking about maybe lower acres and maybe stress on especially the crops in the north where it's dry and warm. So come back at 11 o'clock with some update on the numbers and how the market reacted, and then we'll see how Mother Nature wants to play out the rest of the weather here in the United States and begin the South American crops, and also just kind of see what happens as far as the outside markets is concerned and this new talk about inflation. As always, these are my thoughts and not those of ADM or ADM Investor Services. Have a safe and profitable trading day.